Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jersey and today we are working on part 4 of the museum build. So right now what we're gonna do is a little small walk of the changes that I did off camera. Mainly was taking the brick off. I only left the brick on top of the flags. That way it looks just a little bit different. I think it looks really nice. But the rest I went with cement. So we're looking from close, far away, and I did a little bit different right on the front. When you see the green bushes, I only left one row and I did just one more block of cement, like almost imitating like when people see on front of the museum on their concrete and stuff like that. So that was the idea. All right, so now we're back on the speed build. So what are we going to be working today? So today we are going to be working on the entrance of the museum, coming from left and the right side, and we are also going to be working on the courtyard. The courtyard is going to be is something that's going to be attaching also to the museum. It's going to be on a lower tier, and it's going to have two entrances, one in the lower tier front, and then on the back it's going to lead to the higher tier, entering the museum from the right side. So right now what you see me doing is I want to add just a little bit of greenery. So I had this idea of using the hedges, using the brick flower boxes that I had, and we're gonna be planting bushes because they're nice and green right now, and hedges are green, and it just gives it just a little bit of more kind of just to break all the gray. I like all the gray. I like it more than what I did before with some of the bricks. Right there we took both of the lamps and I moved them to the side so they don't block the statues of the kangaroo, and that way we have a clear view, and I think that looks much better. And here I was trying to decide if I wanted to do add more brick boxes in different areas. So I was trying to see the look and if I liked it, and didn't like it right away. And then if you guys remember on the smaller build, I had like this kind of like in the tiers of the where I got the water fountains, it had like a little bit of like design to it. So I couldn't imitate exactly the same design that I had on that one, but I did add this little more, just one side that is a little higher and then lower, and it just gives it that little multi-level, something more to look at. So here I finally unlocked one of the newer paths, so I kind of want to use them right away, and I still haven't been able to use them the way that I want to just yet. On the it just, the color didn't go. I like the design. I felt like the color didn't go with the whole museum aesthetic right now. So I went ahead and took them off, and I'm going back to the cement blocks. And like everything on this build, we're imitating what we did on the left. So now we're gonna be doing it on the right. I had this idea of maybe using the iron fences to create like a little barrier, and I like it, but at the same time it kind of hides the fountains. So this will be more you guys call. You guys may like it and you guys may not like it. So if you like it, go ahead and add the fences, or maybe another type of fence. But for me right now, I decided not to use the fences and go ahead and take them off. And off camera I did try them also in front of the museum, and did not like it at all. So right now there's no fence anywhere in the actual museum build itself, so we're not gonna be doing none of that at this very moment. So right now slowly I am as I use the tools, I want to move them to the back, because at some point I'm going to be working on that area right there. Okay, so here we are finally going to be working on the entrance when you come in through these stairs right here. So right now I have it's gonna be 4 stairs. But I don't know if I want to change my mind and go from the 4 wide that I hear just to 2 wide. Right now, even to the end of this video, there's still 4 wide. But I may want to try, and maybe I do it off camera, because it's just to try. And if I like the change, if I can do maybe something different, then I may keep it as 2. I don't know. I should have tried it when I was doing this, but I was focused, and the idea came to my mind, but I just kept it as 4. Here we are with the bridge, and we finally lowered the bridge, and it definitely looks a lot better. So now we're going to be cutting the trees that are still blocking the view, and I think these trees I am gonna still, I may want to replant them back. I gotta try that and see if I want to put them just one back to where they were. And that's gonna be, you plant them, let them grow, and you have to wait till they grow so you can see if you like it or not. And if I don't like it, if I still feel like it's blocking the view, then we're gonna go ahead and just keep them off completely. But I never got to do that in this video, so that's something that I just gotta go back and plan. So I will do that off camera too. No point of wasting a little bit of time on that on videos. So here I'm trying to lower the bridge one more time, one more level, to see if I like it. And I decided to, on the front, on this one, to give a little more multi-level. So I'm gonna go ahead and this column, we're gonna lower it by 1 block, and on the other side, but we end up raising the bridge. I didn't like how the bridge at the end, and you see the sidewalk, then the sidewalk is higher than the bridge. I like the look of the bridge lower myself, but I don't like how the sidewalks, they're higher than the bridge. So what we are going to end up doing is raising the bridge again one more time. And for my taste, that's what felt right. If you guys like it lower, or even lower or higher, or where we had it, just put it in the level that for your island, for your aesthetic, for your vision works the best. But the idea is to create a little more dimension, so you see how the columns are a little lower in the front, so it's kind of nice. So we are gonna end up putting there 2 garden lamps to create just a little bit of little light source. Originally, I was thinking maybe a flower pot, or some type of something that could be museum related. But adding the light looks really nice against the bridge. And you guys can add anything. You can guys add a fossil. You guys can add the amber, a flower pots, just or anything that you guys can think of that I haven't even thought of yet. So that's something that we are. It's also, again, it's going to come down to taste. The design is there, but the decoration could be anything that you guys want. Alright, so now we are duplicating the same thing we did on the left side, we're going to be doing on the right side. So we are doing the stairs on this side, we adding the sidewalk, and we also, here I forgot to add the cement. I noticed as I was walking around the bridge, like, wait a minute, I see dirt. And so you know, take the bridge off again. And I'm so thankful this is not like Animal Crossing. You gotta wait a day to things to disappear, and wait a day for it to come back, and then pay so much money every single time. So good job, Dinkum. This is a big plus right here for us that we love designing. Like I keep saying, one of the reasons that I love Dinkum so much is it's just an amazing game, but when it comes to designing, we got more freedom, we can move more, we can, there's just so much freedom to do on this game, and I can't wait for more items and more stuff that James will add to the game, so we can just keep improving everything that we're working on. Alright, so now I'm pretty sure I'm counting the steps, so I know how far I need to make the path over here, to lower, so we can go ahead and imitate the same, like the stairs that are gonna connect to this section of the island on the front that has already been built, and that's gonna be how you come in from like the other side for the museum. And then from that side as well, once we get to that point in the video, we're gonna start seeing the first workings of the courtyard. And the courtyard idea is like I knew I was gonna do something on this side where we are right now, and in previous video have mentioned maybe a little garden or maybe a little patio, and then I ran into these pictures of museums and there's courtyards. So courtyards is like, it's like when you're inside the museum and you're walking, and there's a room and it's a courtyard, and there's fountains and benches and trees and all that, and I was like, oh, I want to do that, but of course it's gonna be on the outside, and I started designing the area, and we'll talk about it more once we get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So right here we're still working on the path is connecting to this section of the front part of the island, or front section of this build. And as when you pass the shops, and then you come here, so right there straight in that empty spot right there, that's where the courtyard, and that's what I will once we start working there, that's the idea. So here we are. I know this is as far right now as I want the museum part to be, but I'm gonna let you in a little secret right now. I think that part is actually gonna be extended, because as we start working on the courtyard, I noticed it right at the end that, again, just like what happened to the museum, I made it a little too small, and I wanted to feel more grand, just space, and I got plenty of space right here. So part of this is the layout of the courtyard will most likely stay the same. It may expand maybe up to four more square wide in every direction. So if you guys, as you guys watching this, and you guys are getting inspired and you guys are imitating this particular build, so imagine it that you guys are gonna make it maybe 4 more wide. I think that's probably what I'm gonna head on the museum. On the top, I made two wide on one side, 2 wide, so that was 4. So I'm thinking, because right now you kind of see the square that I'm working on, and I think the square, it was fine until I started filling things up, and then I still haven't put the benches that I want. I still haven't finished putting all the decorations that I wanted on the courtyard, and by the end of the video, it was feeling small, and I noticed it. I didn't catch it as I was building it. I started feeling how small it was coming out once I started placing more and more of the items, and I was like, oh man, it's not what I envisioned when I look at all these reference pictures and I see courtyards. They're grand. I mean, they're big. They got this fountain, or they got statues. It's just depending on the courtyard that you want to build. And it came out, and for me, when I'm thinking back now that I have more time to think about it, it is smaller than I would like right now. So I know I'm gonna expand it. So if you just guys seeing this build right now, and you guys are working on it and don't want to wait to the next video because you're working on it right now, then go ahead and at least make it 4 more wide. So 2 more square wide on the other side, 2 square going the other way. And if you guys want to be safe, just then double that even. You can go 4 more on one side, 4 more on the other, and you guys can divide that like 2, maybe go 2 squares in every direction, or you can go 4. And that, because I know we're gonna expand it, and most likely I'm not gonna do that off camera this time, because it's gonna be bigger. I'm gonna have to move things around, and like always, when we are working and designing, new ideas popped up. So the layout that I already placed, it could change a little bit, so you guys may like it. But But I don't want to stop you guys from keep working on your island. It's just if you guys are following and doing the same build, that I want you guys to know ahead of time, that I know for a fact it's gonna change, because I am gonna make it bigger, and and I don't want you guys to be like, oh man, I did all this work and now it changed and I need to do it again. So it's just a little more a heads up, but feel free to kind of make it wider. That way you got room for the changes that I know I'm gonna make, because it's gonna come. So right now I'm still working in the design on the inside, and I'm counting, and I'm like, okay, because as I'm counting, I'm like, okay, I'm imagining, okay, I'm gonna put a bench here. I know I want to put like a tree over here on this corner, and I know I want to put some flower pots. And I was like, okay, so at first I'm like, okay, I think I got a good idea right here. Originally, this is how I was planning to use the statues that I've been holding on from the game, and but then it changed, and I took up the statues from those locations, and I'm doing this cool idea of the statues going around the fountain, and it's like they're chasing kangaroos, and once we place them, you're gonna see the idea. Okay, so right now you guys gonna be seeing me working on the outer wall, right, of the courtyard. Well, for at first I was thinking to making it high, kind of like it's you got your walls, and then you walk in, and then you have the courtyard. So as I'm looking at it, and that was even last night, I think I'm actually gonna lower a lot of the walls and not have so much of the walls high. Maybe have like pillars that are high, and that's gonna be like the entryways. So some of that it is going to change, but if you guys like it more like it's a courtyard that is inside walls, then great. Because I think what I'm planning is, once I do the layout, then on the outside, instead of having wall, I'm gonna put like I want to make a little more like a garden around the courtyard on the outside. So that's the best way I can explain it. So instead of having all these walls and just being cement or brick and just solidifying that, I think I want to break that up with more greenery. So I want to plant trees, I want to plant flowers, and or maybe use flower pots, and maybe another type of fence that maybe I haven't used. So I will have to try the white, copper. There are a couple of fences that I have to build, just enough to try it and see if I like something. But I don't want the courtyard to lose the aesthetic of the museum, because it's supposed to be part of the museum. So that's the idea. So I'm trying to give you guys an insight of like how my brain is processing the build as I'm working, and what I'm thinking, what do I want, but also still complementing the museum. So right now the courtyard is the what I was trying to envision is coming out kind of the way I want it. I got my the inside of the courtyard, because most of them are inside buildings, and you see wall, you see door, the doors leads back into the museum. Some courtyards got roof on top, and of course we don't have the ability to add those type of design just yet. We don't have doors, we can't create a roof or anything like that. So I'm trying to make it still I want to make it still feel like a courtyard, but it's outdoor, and that's still the main goal for me. And a lot of courtyards have the green, and I did put the green patch, and something, I don't know, because I don't have enough green on the floor on the main museum, but it wasn't working for me. And I really wanted the green, because I see so many pictures of museums, the front, the courtyards, and they all have all this uh, grass, and but I cannot make it work somehow. At least it doesn't want to click in my brain that this I want to make this work like this. So I end up taking the grass off, and I end up putting brick pads to match the brick that I have right there on the top. And then you guys saw previously that I put the iron fence. And the more that I was looking at first, when I put it, I was like, oh, I like it. But the more I looked at it, it was looking more different, and it wasn't flow. Again, the best way I can describe it, it wasn't feeling right for me, and it wasn't just flowing. So I went ahead and imitated what I have around the riverbank in front of the museum into this, and that I liked. And I guess right now that's gonna be the key for me, is the museum area is gonna be using a lot of the same materials, the same type of fences. That way everything aesthetic wise is matching. So when you're looking and you're spinning your camera around, everything is uniform. I still like the iron fence right there in the front, because you can see through it, and the bushes and the flowers that we end up putting there in the front, so you can see through it, and that it doesn't bother me. I think that still works very well. So right now I can say that those iron fences in the front is staying, so you guys can keep those. But right now on the side that wasn't working, so we went ahead and imitated what we have around the riverbank in front of the museum. Okay, so right now I got most of my layout done of the courtyard, right? And to this point I still feel like this is a good size. It's plenty. So the reference pictures that I'm looking at, this courtyard, they got like trees inside the courtyard. So I was like, okay, so I can go ahead and gonna plant trees on top over here, so it's like higher. And here's when I was still trying to figure out if I want to keep the statues where I originally thought I was gonna put them. But then this idea, and like I said, when you're designing, you get ideas and you're like, oh, I may change that. So here I was sure one more kangaroo, and I want all those statues in the courtyard to match. So I stole the two that I had over there, and I went and put them over here. And here's when I put them like they're chasing the kangaroos all around. So they're all facing in such a way that it's going around a circle. And I like how this came out. And so far, this fountain, I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay the way it is. I am liking it. And right here to this point, I still have not felt like this area was too small. But I am starting to slowly filling it up. And then at some point in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is coming out smaller than what I want, because I still wanted to plant trees. I still wanted to add benches. I still wanted to add the lights, and there was a little more that I wanted to do. So yeah. So in some angles, you can see where the staircases stars when they come down. I think that's where I want to expand to that size, to almost to the edge of the museum, and expand it down. So that's gonna give you more room, more width of the area, and then like I talked previously, I want to lower these walls, and at some points I start doing it, because the idea is, instead of having encasing the courtyard, I want it to feel more open, and that when you're in there you can see outside of the courtyard. And what we're gonna do is work with more greenery. So what's gonna be surrounding the courtyard is gonna be more colorful. So we're gonna just implement more plants, bushes, trees, flower pots, just in such a way that it looks elegant. Because at least for me, I'm thinking courtyard, so I'm thinking very elegant, and benches, and once we get to that point, that's where we're gonna be working on. So here I was like, okay, well, I don't have enough space, so maybe if I take And right now I'm compromising because you know how it is. You work so hard and you're like, let me see, maybe if I take some of this cement out, it makes it feel a little more open, and then I can put the benches inside those openings, and we don't have to just break the bill. But at the end, and being honest with you guys, is yeah, is we're gonna expand because it still feels small. And I want to be comfortable, and just what we did with the museum. Once we expanded the museum, it just felt better. It felt more comfortable to walk in front of it. It just doesn't feel so tight, and that's what I want for the courtyard. And I want also, like, when you're walking around the courtyard, you can see it. And right now is, the walls are too high and all that. So all of that we're gonna, like I've been talking, we're just gonna rework it. So once again, if you guys are planning to duplicate this build or getting inspiration from it or duplicating exactly, go wider right now. Go wider. The fountain, I love the fountain. The fountain is gonna be staying the same. The edges around what I have planted, that's the idea that I'm in my mind is still staying. So right now we planted pine trees. We planted some of the red bushes that are gonna grow. And right here, this is when I'm trying to test, just to see if what I was thinking was right, and I want to lower the walls. And once I started doing that, I was like, okay, yeah, you see how here you can kind of, instead of being so blocked, you can kind of see now more as you're walking towards the courtyard. So that's the idea, is making it feel open, but still it's its own area, and that area has a pathway that's gonna lead to the museum. And if you walking out of the museum, you got two ways to get in. And I'm pretty sure, and I can't say this is gonna be 100% because I haven't decided, but I think I may want another entrance that just leads to the river, and maybe we could do like a little path, because I have a river. So you guys may not have a river where you guys are working in your island, but for mine, I have this river. And maybe if we don't do a pass, maybe an opening and a bench facing the river, and maybe we enclose it like for safety, that way a crocodile or anything like that doesn't come, and we can do that and close it, and it kind of like a little view of the river, and people, it's like, oh, so pretty. So that's an idea, and like I said, that one is kind of fresh and new in my mind. So it's not like I may do it, I may not do it. So we'll see on the next video if that's something that ends up happening. So right here we're testing on this back wall if it was dirt. So, and there's a little section that you see. So I'm like, okay, do I want to go with brick? So we tested it out, didn't like it. I'm like, oh, maybe I can use finally the new path here. And again, I don't know what is it. It could be the color that for me is not matching, and I like the design, and I want to use it. I just cannot. There's something there's something that I still, in this particular build, I think maybe if I use that path as a main part of another build, I think that's how it's gonna be working better. But once again, like I always say, if you guys like it, if you guys see a way to use it in your build, use it, because it's all taste. My taste is different than your taste, and what looks good to you, and what feels right for you is not the same thing that feels right for me. And that's when we are all creatives, and we all have our own style and design and ideas, and what works for us and what works for your vision. Because I want you guys to be inspired, and if you guys are stuck, then imitate to the point that you feel like you want to do something different, because it's going to work better for your island. And that's always the goal, is to inspire you guys. And then after the inspiration, if you guys are still stuck, imitate the build, and to the point that you guys can make it better and add your own flair to the build. So right now we added 2 more fountains, and that's something that I was always planning to do. Right there in the front of the museum, it's just more fountains in the front, and then the other fountains leading up the museum. It just it's something that I was planning. So and we did it like in the very early on the first couple of videos, and I knew, and I finally was able to put them down. So that was exciting. So here is one of the last sections that we're working on tonight. I took a break from the courtyard because I knew I was like, man, I'm gonna be expanding this. So let me work on my other idea that I had to see if something that I like and I can make it work. So the idea is on this side, and then if it looks good on this side, we're gonna do it on the other side, is making a tier where we are gonna plant greenery. And it's kind of like, of course, we can do like a hill, like a flat, like a hill going down, because everything is blocking squares. But we are gonna try to make this multi-design and then we're gonna plant different greenery, and it looks like it's coming down on the side of the museum, and then some of the greenery is gonna be popping up at the edge of the museum, and it's to give it kind of a little look. And then we're gonna, on the other side of the sidewalk, we kind of duplicate that, so then it feels like you're walking through a path. So when you get in, and it's like all this greenery path, you're walking, and then when you turn, you enter the museum from the back. And that's the idea, and that's what I'm heading. And of course, this is like a big trial, and it's like, can it work? Will it look good? Will I change my mind? Right now, I don't know, because I haven't got to that point. Here we're changing the lamps. I was trying to use a different style of lamp for this area, but I just decided to go with the more normal looking one right now, and to match the whole museum area. And that's why we took those one out and we added the old ones again. So I still got those, and most likely it's gonna be for another section of the island. So we are still working on that little hill side coming off the museum. And what I'm trying to do right now is kind of make layers, but like imitating the bottom, and then to the next layer, and then when you go to the side, do the same thing. And I start taking dirt off and put it on the other side, because I want to make the same type of hill for the greenery on this side. But then I end up reshifting and using all the dirt that I took off back to lay it out in a specific way. And then by the end of the video, because we only end up working just on this section, and I think I was kind of okay with it, to kind of say it better that way. I was okay with it. I never got around to put the greenery just yet, so that's something we're gonna try, let it grow and see how it looks. So we're gonna be working that also on the next build. So here I decided I was not liking the design like I mentioned earlier, so I went ahead and put cement back. But I'm looking at it, and I know right there, I remember I was like, yeah, all this is gonna have to expand and lower the walls, and yeah, and I was like, it's just something that we are gonna just to have to work and do it. And sometimes you just have to do it. Sometimes you don't want to, because you spend so much time working on a build. But we are gonna change it. And I kind of wanted to start last night, but then I realized I've been playing for a while. This video is gonna come out long once again, and I'm trying to get better. I'm making them a little shorter so it's not so long for you guys. But here we are in the final stages, and we are going to stop working on the courtyard and finish for the night. So that way in the next video we can then start working, and this is most likely where we are going to start. We're either going to start with the hill on the side of the museum, or we're going to start working with the courtyard. But yeah, here's where I'm trying to decide if I like this layout, and we're gonna start like deciding, and but I knew I'm running out of time, you know, and it's late, and I decided just to, okay, this is it. This is the end of the night. So right now, guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Hit a like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and we are gonna be back on the museum build part 5. All right, well, thank you for everything. See you later, guys. Bye.